gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kingdom of Kodiak. I'm Kodiak. With me today on episode 73, Baron Arkhend of Obsidian Gate. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Fantastic, except I'm so excited to get to talk to you on camera that I cannot talk.
I have that effect on people.
You're intimidating. Yes. But, Arkhend, let's not waste any more time. Let's get to the bare necessities. Sorry, Sin. Still would like to know, how long have you been playing Amtgard?
I've been playing Amtgard almost 6 years. Almost 6 years now. Well, no, actually, more than 6 years. It's like coming up on 6.5 years now.
Oh, you had an anniversary and we missed it.
I know. It's a bummer.
We'll have to keep tracking it better. All right. So Blairow would like to know what got you involved and interested in Amtgard.
I was living in California at the time, and my route to work took me past this park every Sunday, and I would always see these guys out there fighting. You know, there wasn't a large group of them. It's a park in California called Agers Hall. It's actually where I started Amtgard, and then one day I decided I'd go up and ask them about it. And I just kind of fell in love with the game after that, and I never really expected to, but I'm happy I ran across something that can, bring me as much joy and amusement as Amtgard does.
That's awesome. You gotta love hearing that. Stillhat would like to know if you could tell us a little bit about your persona.
So I've never really been the one to like do Dungeons and Dragons or anything like that. I've tried a few times, but I've never been like a super creative person in that sense. So Arkhend is actually this black guardian dragon from a card game back from the late 90s, early 2000s. And I always thought that was like a cool little connection. And I was eventually going to try and tie that into like some Black Dragon clan thing. And I never followed up with it because I've never been, it's not that I don't want to be, it's just I've never been really creative.
Okay. So there's a desire to want to be creative.
Yeah, but a distinct lack thereof of creativity.
Okay. Right. Well, given the last couple of people we've had on KOK, I think we can maybe direct you in a way of how to start that off. Maybe there's a Dragon Spiner listening right now that can set up a program on RP 101. And
that would be helpful.
There we go. Awesome. All right. So, which award or achievement are you most proud of receiving?
Honestly, I think my most proud moment was getting awarded the Order of the Jovius for Reign back in 2018. I think that's like, it's kind of a special award to be recognized as someone who's always happy, who's always in a good mood, no matter what kind of situation they're in. Sorry, my dog is growling. No matter what kind of situation they're in, they're always maintaining, good positive attitude. And I think that was a huge one for me. As small as an Order of the Jovius is, I think it meant a lot to me.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen you without a smile on your face. So that always makes me super happy. You walk into like day 4 of GOTC and you see Arkhend going down to the field and he's all chipper and happy and let's go have a good time, y'all.
I always try to maintain positivity. It's always been that way.
Yeah, no, it's great. You are infectious with it too. Morgan would like to know, what's your favorite battle game and why?
My favorite battle game is actually one I don't know what it's called, but it was created by a few of OG members, and it was part of this reign with Morgan and Sir Stefan, and it was called Amtgardian Knights. And there was like this caravan thing where a player was playing as a camel, and you had to escort the camel from either end and everything like that. And the camel had this ability called Watch Out They Spit. And it was like a spell ball. It was pretty much instant death. They would yell, "Watch out, they spit," and then throw a spell ball at you. And it was like instant death. And it was just the funnest game. I don't know what the actual name of the game was, but it was basically escorting a spitting camel. It was pretty great.
I remember when we got Morgan into Kingdom Office, and that was the story that he would tell every time he met a new officer was, "Let me tell you about the camel game." And it's like, All right. I've heard it 3 times because I've been with you the whole time. But yeah, absolutely. Tell me one more time. Watch out, they
It,
spit.
it was a great game.
Awesome. Uh, Sir Elakar would like to know, what's your favorite class to play?
My favorite class used to be warrior. I never wore armor with it, but I always thought of that like as the quintessential roleplay character.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
I just recently maxed out healer,
Oh,
and yeah, I really love playing a version of healer that's basically self-regenerating warrior. So it makes it a little bit more fun, and the fact that my allies can come to me or I can come to them and I can help them out too. It's a lot more involved than just a warrior class where you're up in people's faces and it only matters about what you're doing and not how you're affecting the team fight. Where I love healer now. I've fallen in love with healer.
that's interesting because I thought for the longest time you were a monk main,
I've
right?
never played a monk. I have 2 credits in monk.
Wow.
Yeah, I
That
always played warrior.
that blows my
Always played
mind.
warrior. Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay. Well, so Devrick would like to know, what's your favorite weapon set?
It's my crutch, sword and board. Sword and board is my crutch. I've never been great with pole arms, and I can't handle them, in my opinion, safely. So I never play with them because I don't want to injure other people.
Mhm.
Single short's always fun, but I think my crutch and my go-to is always going to be sword and board.
Oh, see now, sword and board. There's going to be like a delay or a skip in the video because like that doesn't exist. We don't. That's the
Okay.
worst. I hate sword and
I
board.
mean, I don't disagree, but it's my crutch. It's what I'm
That
comfortable
that's fine. I guess everyone's allowed to have a flaw. All right. Well, that was the bare necessities. Sorry, Sin. Let's get to the 3 questions KOK viewers have been asking since episode 1. And as I mentioned, we're at 73. So we've been doing this for a minute. Sir Glenoth was given a toaster by Sir Alucard, or at least the story is that Sir Alucard got Sir Glenoth a toaster from Calthrax. But Sir Glenoth is still looking for a soda maker. How do you feel about that?
with. um, I mean, toasters toast things, so I love toasters.
Okay.
I've never owned a soda maker in my life. Actually, I've never even seen one except on a Walmart shelf.
Okay. So if I'm understanding this correctly, if we get you a soda maker so that you can judge its necessity and usage, then you would be able to give us an exact answer if Sir Glenoth deserves one.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Since I have no experience with a soda maker, I can't make a worthy judgment on that.
Okay. So we have a by proxy. All right. Okay. Well, KOK viewers, I guess we have to switch the question. Does Arkhend deserve a soda maker? Fantastic. Still, I would like to know, what's your favorite, who or what is your favorite bear, and why is it Stillhat?
So, still hot. Unfortunately, it's not you. Kodiak and I have a long-standing, very fun relationship. So Kodiak's my favorite bear and will always be my favorite bear.
And you know what? Because he said it so genuinely, I'm going to give myself 5 points instead of the normal 1. I feel like I earned it.
Oh, definitely.
Thank you. All right. So this has come up in the conversation because we have a very interesting monarchy 3-way encounter for Endrain coming up, and the jacuzzi came up in the conversation. What are your thoughts on Dragonspine getting a mobile pool and or jacuzzi?
Like strictly to do interviews in or debates in, or just in general? Are we talking like the Twitch jacuzzi situation? Because then I'm gonna say no. But I mean, throw a tarp in the bed of a truck and you've got a pool wherever you go.
Yeah, like originally when this came up, it was just, hey, we're just gonna throw a tarp in the back of Dom's truck and we'll have the solution. But we kind of thought maybe Dragonspine would want to fund a pool or a jacuzzi. Dragonspine, it's a joke. We don't expect you to spend money on a mobile pool and or jacuzzi. But Arkhend, if we were gonna do a fundraiser, how would you fund a mobile pool and or jacuzzi?
Well, I would sell everyone on how much fun you could have while being inside of that pool or jacuzzi, and
Hmm.
think about the stories it could tell if it could talk. All the dragon spine people it's seen, all the people from outside the kingdom that it's seen. I mean, like they say, if walls could talk.
Uh-huh. Okay, so the person who struggles with the role play is suggesting that we try to get players to understand the point of view of a pool and or jacuzzi as
Yep.
a way to fund the money to get a pool and or jacuzzi.
Yep.
Arkin, you're outside the box right now. I love it. All right. Those are the three questions KOK viewers have been asking since episode 1. Let's get to the questions. And of course, we're going to start with the one that we have dubbed the first question. What is your weirdest flex?
Well, my weirdest flex is that I grew 8 inches in one summer. So I went from being like 5'3" to 5'11" in one summer. But
Awesome.
back problems and knee problems.
Yeah, there it is. Fun stuff. Still, I would like to know, do you ANS and what do you make?
Okay, so I have a complicated relationship with crafting in general. I'm not creative enough to do anything without like a set inspiration in front of me. So what I do is I buy people's tech, I pay for their tech, and then when it breaks, I try and replicate their tech. And
Oh, okay.
that's kind of what I do. So if I find something I like if I like the way someone did a handle, that handle gets, put onto my new weapon. But I never think of I'm so unoriginal, and I just don't I'm not good at it. So I just rebuild essentially.
Okay. All right. So you're kind of a scavenger when it comes to the arts and science community.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
If I see something cool, I'll try it, but I'm never the one that thinks of the idea.
Okay. All right. Uh, Lightning would like to know, what is your favorite garb that you own?
I have a white and blue tunic that I bought from Cassie's Apparel at Clan 2019, and it is the most fantastic piece of garb to fight in, and it's a great piece of court garb. For whatever reason, it never gets dirty, even though it's white. So yeah, I love fighting in it. It breathes really well. It's got beautiful, beautiful stitch work on it. And then of course, just it looks like eye-catching. It's got bright
Mhm.
blue and silver trim, and then just a big white torso. So
Awesome.
that's my favorite piece of garb.
Okay. And what about, this is a still hat question. What is the coolest garb you've ever seen?
Oh, so this was at my first true Amp day in ever, and it was a camping event called West March Wars in California, and there was a guy who had an entire like garbed court apparel made out of like Coors Light cans. And I just thought that was awesome. Obviously not practical to move around in or fight in, but it looked really fancy for court garb.
Okay.
I think that was just the coolest and most unique thing I've seen.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair. We talked about this off camera before you joined, but still has a great question, and it always gets our arts and science people going. Where's your personal heraldry?
I don't have one. I've tried to think and do creative stuff with it, but I always find myself looking for inspiration. Then when I'm like, oh my God, that looks perfect, it belongs to someone else or something else.
Mhm.
And I obviously don't want to take that. So I guess I just need to suck it up and make something.
Okay. Well, call to action. Anyone in Dragon Spine or watching the video that thinks that they have the perfect personal heraldry for Arkhend should reach out to me or him. And if you reach out to me, I'll let him know. If it's not about me, it's about Arkhend.
It's
Anyway,
always about you, Kodiak.
I've said it so many times. Uh, so Cato has a carryover question that, I mean, I don't know why it still gets time on KOK, except for every so many episodes, someone says yes. Back shields in V9. How do you feel about that?
No, I just as cool as it looks, from a practical standpoint, like it just opens up for so like much intentional or unintentional sluffing in that sense. You know, it's like you're deliberately making a shot that a lot of people throw null and void just by having a shield on your back.
Mhm.
If that's what you want to do, just invest in armor.
There you go. That a, an actual argument instead of I want to be a turtle. See, Kato, that's how that works. Anyways, Kato would also like to know, even though we've kind of gotten to that out of you already, to flurb or not to flurb.
Um, I'm still learning the ins and out of the spells and everything like that, and like what
Mhm.
people are shouting at me, and you know how it affects everything, and what enchantments and everything. Because there's a druid at our park who can enchant the crap out of anybody and turn them into like some kind of golem self-resing thing or something. So I'm
Mhm.
still learning all that, but I think everyone should flurb. I think that's part of Amp I think if we left it only to stick jockeying, it's no different than baseball. There's no, it's just a sport, and Amp Guard's more than just a sport. It's about role play. It's about investing into something that's a little bit bigger than yourself and an idea that everyone can kind of come around.
I like that. I like that. It's not just a sport. It's more
No,
than that.
it is.
Yeah, that's good. That's cool. Zana would like to know, are there any rain themes that you would like to see?
Yeah, I would. I don't know how practical it is, but I would love to see a rain completely, like built around George Romero's style zombies, like Day of the
Okay.
Dead and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Like, I think that would make for really interesting battle games, really kind of swarm mentality battle games, which would be really fun. Plus, you can make the whole rain around the time, going into the winter rain where, you know, October 31st, Halloween's going to be around. It fits perfectly into that. I think it would be a really fun rain. And if you could work out how to get everything in that direction, I think it'd be really funny and fun.
That's interesting. You know, Maze is right around Halloween too. So zombies in the maze field. I'm
Yeah.
just yeah.
I'm
Anyways,
just saying, it sounds fun, doesn't it?
yeah, it does. It does sound fun. All right. Morgan would like to know, what's your favorite Amp Card event?
Obviously, Gathering of the Crowns now,
Mhm.
previously known as Gathering of the Clans. I love that event. It's kind of what like personally got me invested into AmpGuard. Like I saw what it is on a grander scale versus just my local parks,
Mhm.
and it really played a large part into me just like deciding that this is something I want to do every Sunday. This is something I want to invest my time into. So I
Mhm.
think Gathering of the Crowns will always be my favorite event.
Cool. And you and I have a Gathering of the Crowns moment, right? Because
We we, we certainly do.
go ahead.
We've got a few of them.
Okay.
We've got a few of them. There was times where you and your entourage were all were all super drunk and running up to me and asking me where quest objectives and stuff were, and I was like, I don't know. And it happened because you remembered last time in 2018 I was a quest giver working with Kato, and then 2019 I wasn't. So you're like, we need help. Where's I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. It was just hilarious. It's always a good time with you though.
Thank you. I appreciate it. If it wasn't for you at the last GOTC, I would have had to pull out of the four and under tournament. It was you and your girlfriend were able to provide me tape so I could tape my calf back to my leg so
Yeah,
I
I
could
do.
finish the tournament.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
But I do remember that. Yeah, because I remember you. Oh man, that was gnarly.
yeah.
That was actually gnarly.
It
Oh,
did.
good,
It didn't feel good at all. Anyways,
good time.
the what do we call the crats that take care of us, the health crats or whatever, med crats, for GOTC. I'm so sorry because I lied straight to your face. I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm dying inside, but I'm fine. um Anyways, again, not about me, it's about Arkin. Kenjin would like to know, what does your perfect Amp event look like?
Ooh, um, obviously lots of ditching, lots of good battle games. I love watching jugging. I love participating in jugging. Hopefully next year Vanguard can field the jugging team. That would be really fun. Um, and I don't fully understand it, but Phoenix Ball is cool too. Uh, well, like I said, I don't fully understand it, but I think just people kind of letting the real world go and just living in the moments that they're in at the event, whether it's a huge event or just a small state event where 100 people show up. Like, I think living in that moment, like just enjoying that time regardless of what's happening in the real world or regardless of the differences each individual person shares, regardless of battle games or ditches or tournaments or anything like that, that's really what makes an event for me, is not just my own enjoyment but how everyone else is enjoying it too. So just one where we can forget about mundania for a while and just truly enjoy what we're doing. That's why I love the site out in New Mexico, because there's no cell reception.
Yes, it's
That's
absolutely true.
I love that. I love that because it lets people just be in the moment, and you don't see people walking around attached to their phones and stuff. They're
Right.
they're talking, they're having a good time, they're getting drinks at the role play tavern, they're sitting around the bardic circle. There's so much more camaraderie when
Yep.
you're allowing it to just be that moment, which is kind of a weird segue into one of these times I do want to try. I don't know how soon, but I do want to try one of those like full immersion LARPs where you never break
Yes.
your character.
Mhm.
See, that sounds fun. Like, it would be interesting to see how it would work out. I'd probably stumble a few times and break character quite a bit, but I mean, it just seems like it'd be fun to do. Just
Yeah.
ignore the real world.
Well, and in that example, because we talked about this with Kriv last week, right? Like going to these events where once you cross this line, you're in character. Like if you go in here to this event, you have to be in character. They expect that you'll be in character. Taking someone who's developing a character and being like, hey, you have 3 weeks and we're going to this event. You need to know who you are in 3 weeks. Like when you cross that line, I need Arkhend to know what Arkhend would do in this situation. And if you're wishy-washy, we're going to get kicked out of a cool RP and it's going to be all your fault.
That would make me feel like absolute crap if I got everyone
Sorry.
kicked out of an event.
No, come on. I joked. I was
No,
joking.
I know, but I mean, in reality, that would make me feel awful if I was the reason
Yeah.
like my group of people got kicked out, or like if I did anything that caused someone to not enjoy their time. Like I just I don't know. I don't like upsetting people, I guess.
That's fair. That's fair. Because you're a kind soul. And I didn't mean to put you in that position. We'll move on.
Even figuratively.
There we go. Yes, yes, even figuratively. Zana would like to know, what AMCARD achievements or projects are you working on?
Right now, my biggest kind of project and or achievement is to hopefully get my lordship.
Mm.
That's like that would be a cool step for me. I mean, I realize COVID's kind of messed everything up, but I've been Baron of a park for 2.5 years, and for a year and a half or 18, 20 months, however long it was, we couldn't do anything about that. So I really, in the short time I have left in Dragonspine, I'm going to be trying to push my park forward as much as I possibly can, which I've always tried to do. I mean, our largest events are Comic Cons, and I've always volunteered to work all the days, and I've been there all the shifts, and I've always deeply kind of cared about Obsidian Gate because it was where I developed as an Amcard player. It's where I kind of grew up as an Amcard player. So I feel like that in itself is an achievement, but I really do want a lordship one day. That would be pretty cool. It's just a simple one.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, it's whatever, it's the most important to you. That's awesome. That's good. I like that. So you mentioned that you're leaving Dragonspine, which I didn't approve. So I feel a little betrayed, but that's fine. We already talked. You and I got a chance to talk about it, and you explained it to me. I only cried for a couple nights in a row. What then is your long-term goals in Amcard outside of Dragonspine?
Well, I'll be essentially going back to the same area I started Amp in. So I'll be playing Sundays at Agers Hall and hopefully Saturdays at Misty Vale. Because it's in kind of that greater Sacramento area, or even Thor's Refuge. But my long-term goal is to just to continue to enjoy the game. Like it's a hobby and it's a stress relief, and it's not meant to add more trouble to your life.
Mhm.
So my goal and my focus long term and short term, because I more believe in being micro ambitious. Like my short term goal is to always enjoy what I'm doing, and if I find myself not enjoying it, I something needs to change about what I'm doing, or I stop doing what I'm doing, and hopefully it always remains a positive thing for me.
Awesome. We did get a question from the chat. One Friar Carlos. Uh, Friar Carlos, we miss you in Dragon Spine Las Cruces. What are your best memories of Obsidian Gate?
Oh man, my best memories of Obsidian Gate span 5.5 years now. I mean, all of them are my best memories, but the ones that actually like stick out to me was when I approached Morgan and Sir Stefan and all the better fighters of my park, and I asked them, hey, I want to be a better fighter. Like, show me how to do that. And me doing that led me onto the path to join my Vanguard family, and ever since then it's just been a roller coaster of good times, no matter what event we're going to. Well, I mean, you've been to Vanguard camp at
Mhm,
GOTC, so
mhm.
it's always a good time. So I think that my memories that I hold most dear are the ones tied to me developing into the person that Vanguard would want someone to like would want that person to be part of their company for. And I think that that led to a lot of not just amp guard development and growth, but personal development growth, because I learned a lot from a lot of people, not just about fighting, sometimes about real life too, which is always a positive.
Well, that's good. Also, yes, I've been to Vanguard uh, camp at GOTC, and I yet to have eaten a meal at there. And Morgan reminds me of that every time.
Every time. Every
Every
time
time.
you got to eat some food. Vanguard makes it a point that we all pitch in so we don't have to eat event food.
That's
So
fair.
breakfast is like, bacon, eggs, and then Morgan, he had a walk and was making like stir fried rice and all this other stuff. And the year before that, we had like steaks and ribs and all that. Like it's always a good time at Vanguard camp.
Yeah. No, I promise Morgan the next time GOTC is a thing, I will come, I will eat, and I will be merry at Vanguard camp.
Sounds like a plan.
Excellent. Morgan has a big question. What belt path is your priority?
You know, I've never really given it much thought. I want to say because like I'm a fighter at heart, that sword is kind of where I would lean.
Mhm.
But I don't think I, and this might be a little bit controversial, but I just don't think I ever want to be a knight. I think I want to enjoy the game and enjoy the game I want to play. And if knighthood comes along with that, then
Mhm.
that's fine. But I'm not really focused on any path. I think I like aspects of all. Like, well, I mean, I can't really craft, so goodbye serpent. But you know, I like helping out. I like volunteering. I like fighting. I like battle gaming now, so that's an avenue too. But I just don't think I've ever given any real thought to like something it to it being something I'm chasing or going after.
Okay.
I
All right.
do I do, however, think sword has the most prestige behind it. So I think
Okay.
Sword Knight has the most prestige behind it. So I guess if like there was like an ultimate end goal, yeah, it would be cool. But
All right. I think are we considering the prestige behind it because of its rarity?
I just think it's like when you see a sword knight, they're a sword knight kind of thing, right?
Hmm.
So like you know that person when somebody walks up onto the field and starts wrecking people and you see that white belt and you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like
Okay. All right.
it's like the prestige is there. And like when you hear a sword knight's entering the tournament, just like if in ANS, if you hear that, a serpent knight entered a few things, you're probably going to be holding that to a higher regard.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So I just think, in my personal opinion, the sword path is probably the most prestigious. Also, there's people that have been chasing sword for 11, 12, 15 years and still haven't gotten it. So
Yeah, Morgan's gonna put the number 21 in the chat if you don't mention 21 years.
okay, 21 years also.
Yes, Morgan, we're aware. You're doing great, bud. Well, you may not want a path, but later on, we're going to ask you to name some names. So when we get there, be prepared. Arkhend, what fighting companies and households are you in?
I'm a part of the fighting company Vanguard, and that's all. I haven't been invited anywhere else.
Interesting. No household has approached you at all?
No.
Dang. Households, what are you doing? Amp card. This is the kind of person you want in your groups. He wants to do service. He wants to lead. He's there all the time. Yes, Devrick, I see you waving. Yes, Devrick. Yes. Spoilers, Devrick's to the left of me. Well, so you mentioned Vanguard, and this is where we put Morgan's question. What's rule number 2?
Don't die.
Don't die. Rule number 2, do not die. All right. Arkhend, I'm going to give you a couple opportunities here to change the game as a whole. All right. Shroud Star asked the question, if you could create a ladder award in Amtgard that does not exist, what would it be for and what would you name it?
Like an actual ladder award that was specifically for like just exceptionally good cooking. Like I don't know, like I don't know if like I know there's like awards for cooking, but like if you built something around it and like it was like, you know, night of this is me being facetious, by the way, like Night of the Kitchen or something like that, like where you can just rock a freaking meal and everyone comes to you is like, hey, I'm doing this big event, I need to feed this many people, what would you do and how is it going to taste the best? I like something based around cooking skills, because I think just along with crafting and everything like that, cooking is borderline a direct science. Like you have to understand how flavors work well with together and how they don't, and like how everything melts together, how long stuff is going to cook for, everything. Like it's just so much goes into cooking. I think it would be fantastic to see like a ladder award specifically for cooking. I don't know what I would call it. I have no idea what I would call it though.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because it's already tied into the serpent belt, right? Because it's considered an arts and science, but making it its own, because there's still service to cooking, right? Like there's still leadership in cooking. You know,
have you ever been in a professional kitchen? There's definitely a leader. There's definitely a leader.
Yes, there is. Yes, chef. Yes, chef.
There's a hierarchy in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that people, lumping it up together into those categories and stuff like that, into Serpent Knight and everything like that is great. But I think a standalone one for like just exceptionally good cooking, and like, because everyone can make a large meal that can feed 200 people, but not everyone can make a large meal that can feed 200 people and make it taste good.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, and then also like you think about the other, it's interesting because as you were saying that, Fire Carlos chimed in again, and it reminded me he's a brewer. Like, that's another science in the food category that like it gets so overlooked, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just made fresh salsa last weekend, and like I made my own homemade salsa, less than $10, and I got a huge bowl of it. I'm never buying salsa from a store again.
Right.
So I mean, it's so much fun, and I love grilling. I can't bake worth a crap, but I love grilling.
Yeah.
If you ask me to bake you a cake, you better like cake flavored soup. One thing.
I will eat your cake flavored soup, sir.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Not a problem. All right. So that's talking about creating an award that doesn't already exist. Well, let's dive into what we already have. If you could change one award, or I'm sorry, one rule in Amtgard, what would you change and why?
That's actually a tough one. I know some kingdoms have already gotten away from it, but tournaments that require the sufficient competition clause.
Yeah.
What warrants sufficient competition? Because if you're in a tournament and the only people are fighting are 8s and 9s, is there sufficient competition because there's no warlord? I think 8s and 9s are sufficient competition for 8s and 9s, but when you're at that level of fighting, some kingdoms deem that not sufficient because you don't have a warlord or sword knight.
Yeah.
And it's I think that's one rule that needs to go away from all of Amtgard entirely, because it's so ambiguous. You can't,
Mhm.
like, how do you define sufficient competition? Like, if more, okay, so perfect example, Obsidian Gates mid reign. I have 5 Order of the Warrior, and I was the highest Order of the Warrior fighter in the tournament.
Mhm.
Does that warrant sufficient competition in that setting, or would it require someone who has more than what a barony can give out? So like a 6th or a 7th, would that count as sufficient competition? Like, it's just so, like, it's left up to too much interpretation, I think, and it can be almost in a way a way to gatekeep people.
Yeah. So
And
you look at the mid high tier awards and you go, this is near impossible for them to, go to an event and guarantee that there's an effect coming for them, because if someone else doesn't show up, it's problematic. So in your example, you are your own challenge. Your expectation as the highest ordered warrior there is you should, in theory, win all the categories. And the person that beats you out of a category should probably get an Order of the Warrior. But you are the sufficient competition for everyone below you, and you holding the status quo is would be the equivalent to significant competition.
So I mean, just and all unlikeliness as this is, what if you've got 10 level 9 fighters in a, like, 9 Order of the Warrior fighters in a tournament? Like, you have none that are higher than the other ones, and they're all, winning categories or trading wins, or it's just left up to so much interpretation.
Sure.
I think it's a dangerous gatekeeping method in a sense that, like, if you're not, if you're in a kingdom where the sufficient competition clause is there, and your closest warlord, you're trying to get your 10th, but your closest warlord is 180 miles away and doesn't travel that often, like, I just think it's one of those rules that's a little bit kind of outdated, I guess.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think if the kingdom's having a kingdom level event and we don't have a representative of the echelon, it's still a kingdom level event. The winner should be awarded appropriately.
And I totally agree with that. It's just one of those rules that it kind of just needs to go away.
Sure. I don't disagree. So Blairow would like to know, and it's maybe you don't have someone, but is there an Amtgarder that you would like to meet that you haven't yet?
Man, I've met a lot of, like, really influential Amtgarders, and I've met a lot of knights, and I've met a lot of people who have no awards that have influence over me. But I think I would love, because I've never met her personally, but I would love to meet Sir Boots.
Okay. Yeah.
I just think the whole idea that she's this kick-ass knight with a pole arm, and she ruins ditches, and, like, I've heard stories about her coming to the aid of people who were being hate sticked by other people, and her, like, defending them. I think I would just love to meet Sir Boots.
Okay. Awesome. That's a great answer. Maybe we can make that happen. The KOK community will find a way.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. So I warned you about this question, and now you have to answer for it. Would like to know your top 5 future knights.
Oh man, top 5 future knights. Oh man.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be as, like, impartial here as I possibly can, but I definitely think Morgan deserves a knighthood. Not even just for his fighting, but, like, for what he's done for Amtgard as a whole, and not just in the time that I've known him, but in the 20 plus years he's played the game. He's done a lot for the community, and for what he's done for building parks and rebuilding parks, and starting whole new areas. It's just he's done a lot for the game, and he's such a
Mhm.
knowledgeable person that I would love to see him, whether it be crown or sword. I would just love to see him get knighted. I think that would be honestly a huge moment, not just for him, but for like everyone who has supported him for any length of time.
For sure.
Uh, I know this is gonna sound weird, but I definitely think that like you are one of the people that I would love to see knighted.
Oh, come on. Ooh.
No, I'm serious. You play such a large role in the Amtgard community and in Dragonspine in general. Like everyone at least knows who you are. You have that effect on people, even if they don't know you personally. They know who you are. They know you're the Kingdom of Kodiak guy, or they know that you're this giant grizzly bear when you show up to events.
Mhm.
So I think that runs along with it. And again, you've served Dragonspine quite a lot, and I think that would be awesome to see united. I would personally love to be there if that ever happens. Um,
Okay. Well, if me getting knighted is going to bring you back into Dragonspine, I'll push for it a little bit more.
oh, okay. Um, I got to give a shout out to Anya as well. I think that woman has more care in her left arm for Amtgard than the majority of players I've met.
Hmm.
She sweats, cries, and bleeds trying to help Amtgard, and it's always usually at her own detriment too. Like she'll go out of her way to make things better for everybody else, even if it negatively affects her. And I think that's one of the things that you being an influence and you being a positive role model on the game is a huge part of knighthood.
Hmm.
Um, oh man, I cannot remember his freaking game name, but I'm friends with him on Facebook. His name is he's Chase. He used to be a Monarch for I think Winter's Edge.
Okay.
And I can't remember his game name, but I met him at 2018 Gathering of the Clans, and the conversations we had while we were fighting, while we were sitting on the sidelines, and all he wants to do for Amtgard in general. Chase Patton, that's his Facebook stuff. Yeah. Um, everything he wants to do for Amtgard and all these plans he had, and he was Monarchy for a while. He was the Monarch for a while, and he tried to push like so many good and positive changes that I think in the future he definitely deserves that recognition. And then I don't really have a fifth, to be honest.
Okay.
I mean, I would love to see everyone that deserves to be knighted get knighted. I think award culture in every kingdom can be better. So I think it's just one of those things where if you deserve it, you should have it.
Okay. But Arkin, I'm going to hold you to it. You're going to come if Morgan. You're going to come back if Morgan and me get knighted.
Uh, I'll tell you what, if both of you happen to get knighted, I'll move back to Arizona.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to start trying, I guess, because I was really sad to hear you were leaving. But I knew why. Like you explained it. It was again, you explained it very well, but that doesn't mean that I am okay with it. I still haven't approved it, but
Well, I mean, we're still gonna see each other at GOTC, so
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Vanguard
Alright,
camp will always be there.
that's true. That's true. I will always meet you at Vanguard Camp. So we talked about your idea of some people who should be knighted. What's your thoughts on the Battle Knight since we just approved it or it just got
Uh,
approved?
so I love it. Honestly, I love it, and I think it's going to be good for Amtgard as a whole. And I think because for fighting, there's only ever been one path to knighthood. It was
Hmm.
always, sword. But there's people that are flirby that can destroy a battle game,
Hmm.
with barely even
Hmm.
trying because they know their class so well. They know other classes so well. They know all the counters. They deserve to be knighted just as much as a sword knight. I mean, to me, I feel like fighting has a high skill cap. I agree with that. But knowing all the spells and how to counter them and what they all do, that's also a pretty high skill cap. Like I said, I've been playing Amtgard for almost 6.5 years now, and I don't know all the spells and what all they do.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know? It's a lot. So if you've got someone that that has that information and knows not only how to wield it, but like how to utilize it best and strategize and win games and turn the tide. If you're losing and they do one major play and it works out and you end up winning, I think those people should be recognized too. Because I mean, I personally know of, 3 super flirby people that don't really fight in tournaments. They don't really, do any of that, but come onto the battlefield dressed as a wizard and they will wreck you.
For sure.
So
For sure.
it's just one of those things. I'm 100% behind it, and I'm really glad I'm playing Amp Guard in the time where people are starting to get recognized for that.
Awesome. That's great. Arkhend, we've gotten to the toughest questions that KOK has.
Okay.
We call them the funny questions. Still would like to know, how do you win a dagger tournament?
Well, I don't, obviously. I lost the dagger tournament. I think I don't know. The important part is people always forget double tap, especially with daggers. Double tap's your friend. Hand block, double tap. That's how you win. Obviously not me, but
Morgan would like some clarification. In your photo, is that one of his defective swords that broke?
yeah, it was. It broke probably an hour and a half after that photo was taken. Not even during the tournament, because in that photo, I was in line for the early bird tournament. I was number 2, and an hour and a half later, after the tournament was over, I was fighting Gideon, and I blocked, and then just pop, a loud noise, and the sword breaks.
Interesting.
I had both of my swords break. Both of my swords break that clan.
It happens. At least you got to use your swords. That's a story for another time, though. Morgan, referencing mid-rain, why do you always carry a pair of extra pants?
To be honest, I usually have them in my bag for situations that happened like that, or if I, like spill food all over my pants, I can go change out and things like that. But I'm glad I do carry a pair of extra pants because it comes in handy.
Yeah. Morgan, you got saved because of it. So, there you go. Still, I would like to know the coolest dog you've ever met.
The coolest dog I've ever met?
Yes.
Is my dog Drogo. He's a half lab, half corgi mix. Okay. He looks like a full-blown black lab, but is the size of a corgi. And I never had to potty train him. He automatically knew how to go outside. He's chunky. He loves cuddles. And he's literally like the sweetest dog on the planet. It wouldn't hurt a thing. Like other dogs have come like running at him, snarling and everything, and he's just kind of wagging his tail, staring at him. And he, like my nieces used to rip on his ear and rip on his tail and like play with him and tug on him, and he would just lay there and take it. But I'm impartial to him. So, but the coolest dog I've ever seen is a pitch black cane corso. It looks like a freaking black, like a Black Panther. It's incredible.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
All
also
right.
super expensive. They're like $8,000.
I think we're gonna need to see pictures of Drogo, though. I
can just grab him.
Well, we'll
Drogo.
wait. We'll wait. KOK is very excited to see dogs. This is what we do. Look at that good boy.
Say hi, Drogo. You can't see, but his tail's smacking the inside of my leg right now. But yeah, he looks like a full-blown black lab, but look at his tiny little legs.
Oh.
And then I have another dog. She's an Australian Shepherd Blue Heeler mix. Her name is Luna. She's beautiful, but she's dumb.
Fair enough. Still, I would like to know, what's the best kind of dragon?
The best kind of dragon?
Yes.
Oh man. I don't know if you guys have ever this is for my WoW players out there, but there's a dragon called Syndragosa, and she's like big and kind of reddish and has like ornaments on her horns and everything like that. And she's part of the Ruby Dragonflight. That's the best kind of dragon.
Okay.
She also transforms into like a human which is really cool.
Awesome. Are you a World of Warcraft player?
I've been a World of Warcraft player since November of 2004.
Tajima, if you're watching this, there's another person that we need to try to skirt over to our realm and try to play with.
I've literally, I just recently let my subscription go down for the first time in 16 years.
Jeez. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I've had unbroken subscription for 16 years.
Little humble brag, but okay. All right. No big
Oh,
deal.
that could have been my weird flex.
It could have been your weird flex. You got two in though.
Yeah.
Two. I was off camera, so it didn't look like I was giving you. Yeah. Anyways, Morgan would like to know: should we kill it with fire?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. All right.
There's a story behind that.
Do tell.
So I gathered in the clans. I was helping set up a tent, and we moved this one little log rock type thing, and a humongous freaking spider, like just sitting there, just humongous spider. I jumped up, and I mean like let out a very, very high pitched scream, jumped onto a stump that was near where we were camped, and I was yelling, "Kill it with fire." I am so terrified of spiders. It's not even remotely funny.
I don't know. I kind of chuckled when you said it, but ooh.
Oh,
Okay.
My fear of spiders has been exploited over the years.
All right. Arkhend. What's your favorite fictional knight?
My favorite fictional knight?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of impartial to like the whole Arthurian like legend type stuff, Knights of the Round Table and everything like that. I just think that what they stood for and how they handled themselves and the creed they lived by was all really cool. So I think like the kind of traditional knight, honor, bravery, and integrity, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite kind of knight. Just something that like when you think of knighthood, you think of that type of person. The shining example of beacon of humanity, like a modern day one, in terms of like, at least in my, I'm a comic book nerd. I love Moon Knight. Different kind of knight, but
Yeah.
it's spelt like that. So I love Moon Knight. And he is kind of an anti-hero, but like also shows those kind of classic knighthood examples.
Sure.
And I think that people that, especially fictional knighthoods where like you see them always doing the chivalrous thing is just kind of something everyone should try to aspire to. Always do the right thing even when no one's looking kind of situations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Integrity.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. I love it. Zachary would like to know, what's the best fictional or non-fictional sword name?
Frostmourne.
Okay.
Frostmourne from Wrath of the Lich King.
There you go. Yeah.
Frostmourne. Yeah, I think that's a great sword name. It's kind of got a sense of like impending doom behind it.
Yeah.
If you hear the classic cheesy ones like, oh, this is the Doombringer and this is the Kingslayer and stuff, it's overplayed.
Okay. You got a stance about this. All right. Okay.
I do have a stance about it.
Arkhend, do you play Magic the Gathering?
I do, but not very well.
Okay. What would be your colors?
I mostly use black and red.
Okay.
Back in the day, I used to have like a Goblin Swarm deck. That was pretty fun.
Of course you did.
I mean, I've never. I mean, I like Magic and I've played it and stuff like that, but I've never been super big into it. But I've always been impartial to black and red. I think I had my Goblin Swarm deck, and then like one of my more recent decks that I have, but I haven't really played in years, was like a kind of like a leech deck. Every time someone picks up a card, I gain life, they lose life. That kind of situation. I like those kinds of decks.
Okay. It's surprisingly you and Sir Francis and the Goblin Swarm decks would be yeah. Arkhend, big question here. What's your favorite color?
Purple. Like a royal purple is my favorite color. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is Kodiak more of a Sith or a Jedi?
Dude, you're easily a Jedi. There's like nothing hateful or dark in you.
Thank you.
I mean, I've never heard you say anything negative about anyone ever.
Oh,
I mean, like that's the quintessential thing about being on the Sith side is like not a great you're not a great person, and you are a great person, and you're the
oh.
exact opposite. Like you're happy and you're bubbly, whereas I imagine Siths are like the dudes in a corner drinking the depresso espresso.
Well, thank you. I don't think anyone's came to the defense so strongly before. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So, Amcard's making a live action movie. Who is playing Arkhend?
Oh God. Somebody much more attractive than I, hopefully. Um,
Not possible.
oh, bull crap. Yeah. Ryan Reynolds, Chris Evans. That's a good one. Because we share a physique, obviously. Yeah. No, I really think it would. If I had to choose someone, it'd be Ryan Reynolds because he brings like a comedy to everything he does.
That's a good choice.
That's who I'd want to play me in anything.
I want someone to go through the Kyoko episodes where that's been asked and put a collage together of the actors that have been picked so far, just so we can get an idea of what this movie would look like.
I really want someone to say Christopher Walken. That would be funny.
Yeah, that would be a good time. So Ryan Reynolds is coming on the screen as Arkhend. What is the theme song that plays?
Oh, what is my theme song? Build Me Up, Buttercup.
Just swaying back and forth. Yeah, I love it. Okay. All right. All right, Arkhend, we're in a different world now. There is no movie being made, but everyone has superpowers. What are your superpowers?
I can pick multiples or just one?
I mean, what is your superpower?
Okay. I want the superpower to steal other people's superpowers.
Yep, there it is. Yep.
I mean, if not that, I think honestly, invisibility is so underrated. It's ridiculous. With being invisible, you can literally do anything and everything you want. And there's nobody that you want to be a supervillain, you can do that while invisible. You want to be a superhero? Guess what? It's really hard to hit someone you can't see.
Right. I mean, the person that's going to be able to hit you is like the person with the enhanced luck, right?
Like that's really it. I mean, that is actually a great point too. Being extremely lucky would be a great superpower, but I think invisibility is deeply underrated.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Arkhend, what is your favorite conspiracy theory? And what is your favorite Amcard conspiracy theory?
My favorite actual conspiracy theory is called oh man, I forget what it's called, but it's where people think the Earth is like a giant dome and we're being filmed by aliens.
Okay.
It's like there's a whole section of it that's like where they think that like the reason why the Earth looks like a globe from pictures and stuff like that is because it's like we're in like a snow globe essentially, and we're being filmed, and that like the sun isn't actually the sun. It's a giant camera light that's illuminating stuff so we can be filmed for large portions of the day. It's just there's a whole thing on the internet for it, and it's fan-freaking-tastic.
Okay. All right. What about an Amcard conspiracy?
Oh man. To be honest, I don't think I know any Amcard conspiracies.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, if I did, I've long forgotten them. But yeah, none as cool as being in a snow globe being watched by aliens, I guess.
That's true. Amcard does not have that conspiracy theory.
It's a great one. You should read up on it. It's hilarious.
I'm gonna have to look into it now for sure. Absolutely. Lightning would like to know: would you rather adopt 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
One horse-sized duck would be much easier to take care of than 100 duck-sized horses. Think about all the like poop 100 duck-sized horses are gonna like. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna stick with the one.
Okay. Well, Stillhat wants you to do something else to these animals. Would you rather fight a duck-sized horse or a horse-sized duck?
A horse-sized duck.
Oh yeah.
I'd rather fight a horse-sized duck. I mean, with that, like they don't have any like arms and they're not great for kicking. What's it gonna do? Like flap its wings at me? I'm gonna
There-
straddle. I'm gonna jump on it. I'm gonna straddle its neck, and it's gonna go to sleep.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, anyone who thought that there was the ducks were super aggressive, Arkhend doesn't care. Which leads us to the next question, of course, though. Arkhend, are birds real?
Unfortunately, so.
Oh, unfortunately. All right. This is a big question that's going to divide my household. Okay. So your decision on your answer here is going to make or break this entire household. Okay.
Okay.
Code Red or Baja Blast?
Code Red 100% of the way.
Code Red 100%. That's so weird because that's my answer.
Yeah, I love, dude. Okay, Baja Blast is like deep, and I mean like insanely overrated. It's good. It's good. Don't get me wrong, but it is overrated.
Insanely overrated, you say?
Insanely overrated.
That's so weird. That's
I'm just being honest. I would if you gave me the choice to drink Code Red or Baja Blast for the rest of my life, I'm gonna pick Code Red 100% of the time.
I know most sane people would, but that's fine. Derek's just a little salty. I love it. Oh, I could drink his tears at this point. Anyways, Sir Nikolai would like to know, what are you currently drinking?
Like at this exact moment,
Yeah,
water.
water.
Health is wealth 2021.
Yeah, we're doing it. All right. Some either ors. Apple juice or orange juice?
Orange juice.
Orange juice. See, now last week, Kriv made it very clear that orange juice is a morning drink and
No.
apple juice is an afternoon drink.
That is not apple juice is good if you want to take shit. Like if you want to take a shit, like it's really good for that. Okay. But orange juice is something you can enjoy whenever. Also, there's not very many drinks, alcoholic drinks you can make with apple juice. There are a ton you can make with orange juice.
Okay. That's fair.
Just
That's fair.
saying.
Okay.
Orange
Sir
juice
Smiley,
is much more versatile.
Sir Smiley would like to know, hot dog. Is it a sandwich or a taco?
It is a sandwich. A sandwich is defined by a meat between two pieces of carbs. That's literally what it is. It's a protein between two pieces of carbs.
So is a taco a sandwich then too?
No, because taco shells aren't classified as a direct carbohydrate.
Oh man.
Yeah. So
That's a rabbit hole I'm not ready to go down yet.
I'm just saying if you look it up on the nutritional guide, it's not stated as a carbohydrate.
Okay. All right. Ice cream or custard?
Well, I mean, okay, so I don't really like either. I'm not a big ice cream fan, but if I'm gonna eat something, it's gonna be peanut butter ice cream. So
Okay. Arkin, how much is too much to spend on breakfast?
I don't. There's not too much to spend on breakfast.
Okay.
Breakfast food is freaking delicious, and I would eat it for every meal of the day if I could afford that or had the time to make that.
Okay. All right. Breakfast every meal of the day. Got it.
Also,
Got
French toast.
French toast. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Favorite addition to a bowl of yogurt?
This is gonna sound weird, and I know it's gonna sound weird, but I used to love when I was a kid. I used to love putting gummy bears in vanilla yogurt.
Gummy bears and vanilla yogurt.
Yeah,
Gonna have to give that a try.
it's weirdly good.
It's so no one else could see it, but Deverick has decided, since your taste in what to add to yogurt is gummy bears, that your decision that Code Red is the superior one. Yeah, he's offended entirely.
Yeah, that's okay. Can't please everyone.
Waffles or pancakes?
Waffles. They have pockets for syrup.
They do. In fact, that is the answer every time someone says it.
Yeah.
Is oatmeal a soup?
Oatmeal shouldn't be a food. Oatmeal's gross. Oatmeal is gross.
Oh.
Yeah, because like if you're talking like traditional oatmeal, it's nasty as hell. That's why you have to add all that extra stuff to it to make it edible.
Okay. All right. I have 4 more questions. They're all from Morgan. So you know we're getting to the end. What is the square root of a bowl of oatmeal?
What is the square root of a bowl of oatmeal? The trash can.
The trash can. Okay. Can you, with as much detail as possible, explain the color of the letter F smell?
Explain with as much detail as possible the color of the letter F smell.
Yep.
When I think of F, I immediately think of fart.
Okay.
So I guess the color of the letter F smell would be like a. Oh Jesus Christ! I'm thinking
Yeah.
about this way too hard. Uh, I would say like it would be like a a darker greenish brown, and it would smell like rotting apples.
Okay. All right. Before we get to the last two questions, the Queen would like to know who am I interviewing?
Arkhend.
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 There's not much to me. I'm sorry. There's no
Well,
fancy titles.
You were Arkhend blocker of arrows at one
That was-
point.
That was one given to me by my park because I pulled off an insane block. We were in a battle game and I was fighting two people in front of me, and I felt like something was going to come flying at my back. So I threw my shield behind my back real quick and I blocked an arrow from behind me without even looking. So I got dubbed blocker of arrows. Oh, in Vanguard chat for the longest time, I was nicknamed Arkhend, who totally doesn't suck at blocking now. So, I mean, I guess I've got kind of like fake titles.
Fake titles. Yeah.
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 The only title I currently hold is Baron of Obsidian Gate. Wait, oh, no. I hold the title. It's Guardian of the Gate from Clan 2019, volunteering to do gate duties and stuff. So I hold a title. I forgot about that. I got an award for it and everything.
I don't remember getting an award for volunteering at Gate, but that's fine.
I definitely did get one.
All right. Well, we got two more questions. If you could meet anyone in history, who would it be and why? Is it Freddie Mercury?
Well, I mean, as much as I would love to meet Freddie Mercury, I don't think it would be. It would be amazing to hear him sing again. But if we're talking about like someone I would love to meet from like an influential standpoint, like I would just, I know this, well, All right. So I've always been a fan of like kind of Norse mythology and everything like that. And then the whole story before the show Vikings came out of Ragnar Lothbrok, like the actual story of him and his exploits and traveling and like how he convinced the whole area up there that if you sailed this direction, land was actually there, not the edge of the world. I just think it would be fascinating to sit down and talk to someone who lived during that time and explored during that time and actually convinced an entire population of people that what they thought was true wasn't. Because that's something that doesn't happen often in history. You don't get a ton of those moments where someone can look back and arguably say this is the definitive moment that people learned that something they thought was true was not.
Interesting.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. But it would be cool to hear Freddie Mercury sing in person. That would be fucking sick.
That would be pretty cool. I mean, because he's the only thing that's of quality from the band Queen. Hi, Sir Randall. How you doing? Anyways, last question. Let me get my breath. If it takes a chicken and a half, a day and a half to lay an egg and a half, how long would it take a grasshopper with a wooden leg to kick the seed out of a dill pickle? Morgan, I didn't look once.
What the fuck? Sorry. What the heck? Dude, I honestly only picked up about half of what you said.
Do you want it again?
No, because I probably wouldn't have an answer for it anyway.
All right, good. Thank you so much for coming on. Let me go ahead and do some announcements and I'll say our goodbyes. Dragon Spine, we have fantastic news as far as it goes for declarations. We have 3 people running for Monarch. We have 2 people running for Champion. We might actually have to have some kind of like formal discussions with these candidates. I know my name got brought up to run it, and I would happily do that if the candidates agree to it. So get out there and let them know that I said that. Or candidates, if you're listening, hey, I volunteer as tribute. We have our end rain is going to be in Las Cruces, the Maze event, but also Sierra Vista, I believe, is holding our Weapon Master. I believe that is correct. So get prepared for that. Award recommendations are already being allowed by our queen. Thank you so much, Queen Stillhat, for that. I have nothing else. I believe currently, if there's any more announcements, I'll make them next week. Arkhend, do you have anything?
No, just happy to be involved.
I'm just happy to be here. Crown Qualls. That's what they're called. Not Weapon Master. Crown Qualls. Morgan, thank you. I'm apparently really bad at this. Anyways, Arkhend, thank you so much for coming on today. I appreciate seeing you whenever I get the chance to see you.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
You are fantastic. And maybe one of us will reach out about you coming and playing World of Warcraft where we're playing. Yeah, sometime.
Sounds good to me.
All right. And folks, until next week, this has been King Roof Kodiak. I'm Kodiak.